Hello, welcome back to Metalhead Nation Garage. I'm Chris, your host, getting into the rock news today. Starting it off is Kiss. Paul Stanley talking a little Kiss. He mentioned he's far from done after the end of the road tour. So basically, what he talks about that, and they have talked about this before, him and Gene mostly, but he talked about the band going on without him and or Gene. They kind of do it now, right? They're the only two original members. They've been touring like this for, wow, probably 15, 20 years with this group, if not longer. But he finally just came out and said that, that he sees Kiss going on after the tour. So he talks about it. We've talked about it on here. A lot of groups out there. There's not many really with original members in the groups now. So he talked about that. He just mentioned Yes. I think there's a couple bands out there of Yes right now. But he states, it's Yes. They're going out performing their songs. He said, if you're asking me, I don't have a problem with it. If it's only one original member, who cares? If it's not, who cares? And the reasoning behind it, he said, some of these people who are not original members have been in the band for years and years, could be 15, 20 years. And they've taken over that legacy. So let me know what you think about that. Leave some comments. Do you agree with that? Are you a fan who wants to see the original members? Or is it okay with you to have, maybe only one original member, or just what Kiss is doing now? Leonard Skinner, what they're doing now. So, give us a comment on that. It'd be interesting to see what you have to say. In other news with Kiss, Casablanca, that was their big record label back in the day. And they actually signed on to there after Wicked Lister. On that Wicked Lister, the story behind that was Gene and Paul. They had a bunch of songs, got together, and got a record deal. But at that time of a record deal, they liked it. They put the music out, but the record label didn't want their music. They said this is what they needed to play, and of course they didn't like that, so they got out of that contract and just left, and they went to Casablanca. So what's going on with that is Casablanca is coming out with a movie, and so Domination in Casablanca is what it's being called. But they're going to be featured in that because I believe they was the biggest seller. They're the one to put Casablanca on the map. So interesting, and may be pretty good. I like some of them movies like that, rock movies, documentary movies of the band. So maybe, I believe it'd be pretty good. Be interesting to see, and we'll see. And on to some Guns N' Roses news. Slash, he's talking about Sweet Child of Mine. There's a bunch of myths in there. How this song was made, any interesting stories behind it, because there's always a story in a song, that's for sure. But he put some of the myths to rest, because he stated he was just kind of noodling around on this, just putting a bunch of notes together, and drawing from it and liking it and everything. And Izzy Stradlin was there in the same room when they was doing it, and then he heard it. He started jamming with him with the rhythm guitar. So, and that's how that became. Axl came in with some, lyrics, and boom, the song was born. But talking about Izzy Stradlin, that's a big one. I just can't believe that they can't get him back together in the band and or make new music. But Izzy Stradlin, he wrote a lot of their songs. It's incredible. But again, they can't get together, to get back, And Izzy don't want much of it either, Actually, he was down here in Cincinnati on that, I believe it was 2017 tour when they got together, I think, and was backstage and was, jamming with them, and it was going pretty good. But as he stated, he said they didn't want to split the loot, they just want him a hired hand. So he said, I don't want no part of this. I'm going back home. So, it would be wonderful if they could come together with Izzy, because I think you can hear the documentaries. They said he was the leader back in the day. So, and that just comes from strong writing and musical talents with Izzy. So, again, another GnR news there, and let's go on to KK Downing. He's got his KK's Priest. We know that the Judas Priest thing's not going to happen, at least this year and next year. So KK, they announced some concerts coming up in 2023. So it's starting in August, and they'll start touring. And again, I told you a couple episodes ago, KK, they're starting their second album with Ripper on vocals. So be on the lookout on that. Just like Ripper said, it's going to be heavy, a lot heavier than the first album. So I can't wait to hear that, because it's I like KK. He is Judas Priest, I think. You can hear that in his solo stuff. So it's really cool. But and moving on to some more rock news on, we was talking about a little bit about Poison the other day. Bret Michaels, of course, he is going on tour as Bret Michaels. But, interesting thing, he had some news in there about Poison. One of the things that they did when they was younger, just coming out, he was saying they had the album done, and they financed the album themselves. Look What the Cat Dragged In. And he went to the studio. They had their hit on it, and, and it went good. And they was offered now to sell their songs back in the day to the record label. What they did was choose not to. The band got together and said, hey, look, we're already poor. We don't have no money. What's it going to hurt? He said they did offer some money, but it wasn't an outstanding amount. So he said, nah, we'll pass on that. We'll just keep it ourselves, and, turned out to be one of the smartest things they ever did, right? Because now we're seeing all these musicians selling their rights and everything to their songs, and making big money. I mean, so good to them. I guess as we look back, a lot of them things that doesn't happen to these stars. They usually, you hear the stories starting out. They was just happy to play music, and their managers took advantage of them, that record label. So it's good that, it took them to in their 60s and 70s to, really get what they deserve in their music. And so kudos to them. Going to Electric Light Orchestra. I don't know if, golly, they was a big band in the 70s again. I love to talk about the 70s, don't I? But Jeff Lynne and, on Electric Light Orchestra, they are getting together. They haven't finalized any 2023 dates, but they are going back on the road, and it is Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra. But just thinking about them songs with ELO back in the day. I mean, Lord, they was up and down the charts for, you know, in the 70s with Mr. Blue Sky, Don't Bring Me Down. Some of these great songs, Last Train to London, you know, Telephone Line. They just had a lot. Evil Woman, just hits after hits. I really like Electric Light Orchestra. Let me know if you like them there. You know, just a good band. You know, great songs, lyrics. I mean, nothing, they're not flashy, not at all, but just a good old rock and roll band. But haven't seen him yet. Hope he gets over here. You know, was planning on it around the pandemic. I know he was out touring. And then everything got shut down. So hopefully he makes it over here to the States. I know they're making plans for Europe and everything right now for 2023. So and that's all I got here on this edition. The next episode is I will bring up a little George Lynch, and talk about him. So hey, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.